Real estate agent, are you looking to acquire clients consistently so you can grow your business and your income to live a great lifestyle? This is Dave Finale and the RE Skill Builder Podcast.
Hey everybody, it's Dave Finale. It is Friday. Yes, it is November 27th, 2020, the day after Thanksgiving. Usually a tough day to get get the stars that I usually have on, but I am so lucky, so fortunate to have the Tina Caul on from Caul Group Residential in Raleigh, North Carolina. Tina's been in the business for quite some time. Tina, welcome. Thank you so much for coming. I know there are little problems today, and we're all working great together to get it done. Thank you.
Yes. Well, thanks for having me, Dave. I'm excited to be here finally.
Yeah, this is awesome. I mean, I've been really fortunate to have a lot of the greats on, and now I get to have another one. And I've got such a great lineup coming up. I've had it in the past, but I'm so fortunate. But I have to say, this is Real Estate Talk TGIF. It's episode 128. It is 126 weeks in a row with those two extra shows. Do you know what TGIF stands for, Tina?
Well, you're just the typical, thank God it's Friday, but you're going to tell me something different.
Everybody says the same thing, and you're absolutely correct. It is, thank God it's finale, right? I mean, look, it's right there. I mean, nobody sees that.
Right.
Exactly. So we've been doing this a long time, and we just love to bring value and have conversations with great real estate brokers, real estate royalty, as you are, as my buddy Sekou says, and we've had coaches and stuff, and you've got a great story. You've got a great business down in North Carolina, and I've been honored to be able to work with some of the people that you've brought into the business and help. So Tina, tell us a little bit about your story, where you came from, how you got to be, the top 1% nationwide, and what's going on with you and your business today.
Yeah. So I wouldn't call me royalty, Dave, but thank you for that. So just humble beginnings, in Michigan, right outside of Detroit. I was 22 years old, and my husband and I, at the time, were buying our first house together. And so our real estate agent recruited me into the business. She paid for my classes. She just saw something in me, and she said, you'd be great in this business. And so I was in college for a couple of years. I didn't know what I wanted to do. So it just seemed like a perfect transition for me.
Right.
So my first year in real estate, I did really, really well. I just started to call for sale by owners. I would drop off packages to them. I had some tenacity. I had no fear, even though I was afraid. I met the for sale by owners, but I just really wanted to get it going. So long story short, that first 6 years, I would say I was just a typical agent, right? I was growing in the business. I was learning from the people in my office. I was kind of watching the top producers. And at the time, the top producers sold about 30 to 40 homes. And so that's where I peaked. What I didn't see happening, Dave, is, that 2006 hit. So I started in real estate, actually, funny story, not funny, but 2001, September 11th, 2001 was my first day in real estate.
Wow.
And so that was very memorable for me. Here I'm so excited driving to the office to go meet my broker, and the first plane hit the building. And so that was a very awful, but memorable day for me in that regard. So again, we get to 2006 and the market starts to tank in Detroit. In Michigan. And so I went from making about $150,000 a year, which at the time, 20 years ago, was a lot of money for a 25-year-old, right?
Absolutely, yeah.
I mean, I had made it. I had thought, I'm rich. I make $150,000 a year. So I really thought I was rich. I had made it. And then all of a sudden the market tanked, and I had gone down to $40,000 in income.
Wow.
And so I wasn't having fun anymore. And I thought, I'm leaving the business. I'm just going to leave the business. I'm going to go become a decorator. And I had a passion for decorating.
Right.
And so I started praying for a sign, because I loved real estate and I didn't want to leave the business, but I started praying for a sign. And that next day, when I was cleaning out my desk at the office, I saw a piece of paper that said, become $1 million real estate agent, learn the skills it takes, blah, 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 $2,000 a month for coaching. So of course, in my mind, I'm going, I make $40,000 a year. I can't afford this. So I crumple it up. I throw it away. The next day at my office, as I'm cleaning up my desk and I'm, on my computer, I get an email. Join us at the Superstar Retreat in Plymouth. And this is about 45 minutes from my home. Learn how to become a top agent. And so I'm like, maybe this is the sign from God. This
Right.
God wants me to go to this, whatever this is, this Mike Ferry organization it was at the time. So I grabbed my broker. I grabbed about 5 agents, friends of mine in the office. I'm like, come on, because all of us were suffering. My broker's, losing money. The agents aren't selling. All of us are going through this slump. And so we all drive out to Plymouth. And lo and behold, who do we run into? We run into this one agent in our market who is outpacing everybody. I mean, we knew at the time this lady probably made about, $800 to $1 million a year selling real estate. We don't know how she's doing it. Here the market's declining and this lady's doing this. Right. So I put 2 and 2 together. I thought, she's taking this coaching. She's here to be coached. And so I grab her, and say, Beline, what are you doing? How are you doing it? And she kind of basically said, kid, if you want to be successful in this business, you need to hire a coach. You need to read more books about self-improvement, and you need to surround yourself with big thinking people. And then she walked away. And so it was just kind of like this Jedi moment. Here she was, this superstar in the market, and she's given me the 3 tips. So I sit back down in my seat, I look around, and, I see my broker, and we're all kind of like giddy, almost like we found the secret. We found the secret to production that she had, because at our office meetings, all we talked about was how she did all the business in town. And so I had literally no money, but I grabbed my credit card and I said, I'm doing this. I got to tell my husband now that I'm about to spend $1,000 a month in coaching. And so from there, Dave, I was faced with a lot of challenges, and fears and getting out of the small thinking mindset, and the coach pushing me to call expireds and FSBOs. But my income went from $40,000 to $150,000 in a year. So I got my income back. From there, I built the confidence to know that I could literally sell real estate and make money every single day, just by picking up the phone. So my husband and I decided we're going to move out of the area. We're going to move to Raleigh, North Carolina, because now we're armed with the information. We know how to list homes.
So there was no fear in picking up your entire business and moving to North Carolina?
Well, there was a lot of fear, but the reality is we decided that because we had the confidence to pick up the phone, we could pick up the phone anywhere. And so we wanted a better life for our family. We wanted warmer weather. We wanted, a better place to raise our family and to retire. We didn't want to be stuck in Michigan. So we picked up and we moved on and landed in North Carolina in 2009.
So you pick everything up. You started in North Carolina, and you had to start over.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Which is a great segue into a really important topic for me. Is when you start as a new agent, when people are always going to ask, what are you going to do? How are you going to build your business? And here you are. You just parachuted into Raleigh, North Carolina, and you got to start all over again.
Yeah.
So if you were to take that as a training moment for a new agent, talk to me about putting what you did and what you think agents need to do in the beginning of their careers through the first, 1 to 2 years, 18 months, whatever.
Well, the thing I see agents struggle with the most is they just don't know where to start. And so they have now, think about it, all these coaches. I mean, I've heard people on your show or in other interviews, they buy their leads, or they attract business, or they have referral business, right? Tap into your database. Well, I didn't have a database. I moved here and I don't know a soul. The richest people that I've met in real estate that have the best net every year are people that actually prospect, right? They know how to go and get the cheapest leads, which are going to be expireds and FSBOs, people that have already raised their hand and said, I've either failed or my agent failed me, or I just don't feel the value of an agent, so I'm going to list it myself. Those are the 2 fastest, ready, willing, and able buyers.
That's right.
Sellers in the market. Why wouldn't I learn the skill to go have a conversation with them? That's simply what it is. Learning a skill to go have a conversation with a seller that has failed, or a seller that doesn't feel the values there of an agent. And that's it.
And that's always been the conversation I have. I would say to a new agent or an agent that bucks the system of trying to make calls. I said, well, why do you think we talk about FSBOs and expireds? Oh, I hate FSBOs and expireds. You don't like them because you don't know how to talk to them. You might know what to say, but you don't know how to say it. Correct. Number one, right? And the reason is because they want to sell.
Right.
It's a warm call. It's not a cold call. So go ahead. I interrupted you. Go ahead.
So coming into a brand new market, I mean, I looked around. I had the greats, Marty Hampton. She had been here 40 years selling real estate. How am I going to compete with an agent, a top agent that has built a business over time? I didn't have the luxury of time. And I only had $100,000 net worth. When we moved to North Carolina, we had $100,000 in the bank. That was it. So we had a time crunch to figure it out because every month we had bills, right? So I would say to a new agent, if you had picked 9 or 10 things that you should do, number one, you should have a solid hour of role play every single day, practicing your skill set. And people go, oh, well, God, I hate scripts. Well, you all have a script. Everybody has a script. So I would rather go into a sales situation knowing at least what to say in a confident manner, right? So I would say an hour of practice every single day. You're not going to go become Michael Jordan without practice. So where did Michael Jordan become great? In practice. He was on stage for the hour or 2 hours that he was performing, but he was practicing to become awesome. So they have to practice. That's number one, Dave. Right. Number two is lead generation. You have to have 2 to 3 hours a day, 6 days a week, whether you like it or not. You just opened up a store. You opened up a bakery. You know, you got to bake the buns. You got to be back there in the kitchen. You got to be, building your business. And if you're not building it for 2 to 3 hours a day, you don't have a business. You're waiting for the day to happen to you instead of taking control of the day. So I see that all the time in agents. Well, I'm an agent now. What do I do? Well, you could sit and wait for people to call you, or you can actually go out and call people and practice your skill of conversation. Number three is they need 30 to 40 minutes a day of efficient lead follow-up. So 70% of the business that I actually listed was because of my lead follow-up. That was it. I knew how to go in there and call expireds and FSBOs, but what about the FSBOs and expireds I called a month ago or 2 months ago or 3 months ago? If you're not following up with these people every single day and putting them in some sort of, campaign, you're not going to get the business. You can't call them once and forget about them. Number four is 30 minutes of pre-qualifying your appointments every single day. So you got to learn to pre-qualify because, again, that sets the stage for why the heck am I coming out there? Why am I coming out to visit this for sale by owner or this seller? Knowing what to say to arm the seller with preparedness is huge. So that's key. And then number five is practicing their presentation 1 hour per day. Your listing presentation is when you've got somebody in front of you that has a $10,000, $20,000, $30,000 commission potential, and you don't practice that. I mean, that's silly, right? I mean, who wouldn't do that? It's kind of like if I were going to go be a movie actor and I show up on the script day one and I go, okay, I'm ready. And you don't know your script, you'd be fired. Tom Cruise knows his script.
Right. And playing a role is not, it's called playing a role. It's not called reading a script.
Correct. Knowing it. Think of Tom Cruise and Brad Pitt. Do they just show up and read off a script? No, they've internalized it. They've practiced it. They know it. And guess what? That's why they get paid $10, $20 million a film, because they're the best at their craft, right? And so real estate agents are terrible at presenting. They're terrible. But they don't practice it. So I think 1 hour a day of practicing their presentation. And then number seven is 30 to 40 minutes of admin follow-up, doing the mundane stuff, doing paperwork and checking email and being efficient with their time before they have an assistant, because you're the assistant before you have an assistant. So carve out that time to do those types of things. Number 8 is communicating with customers, picking 1 or 2 hours a week to communicate with all of the customers that have hired them. Agents list homes and then they don't call their seller for 2 or 3 weeks. And that is awful. I mean, you need to over communicate with your people so they know exactly what to expect. Even if nothing's happened in a week, I call my sellers, or used to call my sellers, every single Friday, and my buyers, to give them an update. So I think that's huge. And then doing all of the above, and then doing it an extra 2 hours before you quit. I mean, in the beginning, you have to work so hard. The first 2 years of my business were the hardest ever. But then you have money. So you can pay for leverage. You can hire an admin, right? You can hire somebody to do the signs for you. You can hire out all the services because you've put in the hard work, but nobody wants to work today. They just want it to happen to them, you know? So, so that's it for me. Those are the key fundamentals of your day. And then make sure that you have a time schedule for each of those activities. You know, you're being hired to make $200,000, $300,000, $400,000 a year. And so of course you're going to have a schedule. I come in every day at 7:30. I role play for half an hour. I'm on the phones from 8 to 11. From 11 to 12, I'm doing lead follow-up. From 12 to 1, I'm taking a lunch. And then 1 to 5, I'm hopefully having a face-to-face contact with some sort of prospect.
See, this is called practicality, and the non-negotiable times I call it time blocking. A lot of people call it that, right? But I believe time management is bullshit. You really can't manage time. It just happens. So if you try to happen along with it,
right,
you can really accomplish a lot of things. And we were talking about this before we came on. I mean, I've decided that I needed to block a lot of things. And also, when we talk about blocking, we can also batch things too, right? Yeah. So quickly, number 1 was practice. Number 2 was lead generation. Number 3 was official lead follow-up of the FSBOs and expired you called before. Number 4 was 40 minutes of pre-qualification of your appointments, which is so important to get you over the hump. 5, practice presentation. What was 6?
It was a 1 hour preparing for the 5 was 1 hour preparing for the presentation. 6 is 1 hour of good practicing presentation. So you got to practice your presentation, but then you got to prepare for it, right? You got to do the comps and you've got to know, which homes expired. I mean, I bring a certain amount of things to an appointment. So you got to get ready for those appointments when you go out to meet the FSBOs or the expireds.
And 7 was 30 to 40 minutes of admin follow-up. You have the admin crap you got to do. Then 8, communicate with all your customers. Don't forget about them. And then go through 9 and 10 real quick.
And then I just said, do it all again. Do everything for 2 extra hours before you quit for the end of the day. Because sometimes, Dave, you know what? In the beginning, you don't have an appointment. So guess what? Get back on the phones. Really go back, practice your presentation. People just give up. I've seen agents that they come to the office and they'll do 2 hours of maybe role play and prospecting, and they don't have an appointment that day. And guess what? They go home. And you go, wait a minute. You want to make $300,000 this year? You haven't even worked 8 hours today. You haven't even put in 8 hours. You put in 5. So what are you going to do for the extra 3?
So that's what I look at when I talk to a lot of agents. I talk to a lot of agents every week, as you do. And one of the things I hear is, and one of the things I know is that they get into the business because they want to set their own hours and make as much money as they can, as much money as they want. What I've learned is that most of them really don't want to work and they don't want to make money.
Correct.
Right? So everybody is listening to this or will listen to this. I'm talking to one of the top 1% in the country here. And we're not talking about shit just coming to her. We're talking about hard freaking work.
Yeah.
I think one of the things that I want you to expand on just a little bit is that you talked about you do this for a few years and then other things happen. Talk to me about that point.
So here's what the results they're going to expect are this: more listings and sales than ever before if they do this. They're going to have increased confidence because they're going to be in the field doing the presentations. They're going to have unbelievable explosive growth. They're going to have a huge income, and they're going to have a lot of referrals because they're a professional. So what happened to me, Dave, when I went to a new market with my husband? Now, Kevin helped me make those calls. We made them together, but he never went out on the appointments. He said, you go, you're the show, and I'll just stay back here. And he was a lot of admin support and helped me there. But what happened was the first 6 months, we played around and we messed around and we got to know the market. The second 6 months, we sold, I think, 38 homes in a first 6 month period. So 38 homes as brand new in the market. I didn't even know how to get out of a neighborhood without my GPS on. So right. And people were hiring me because I was confident. My second year, it was like, 55 transactions. The third year was like 70 or 80 transactions. The fourth year, Dave, I sold 130 homes myself, 130. So the wheels fell off though at that time. I was done. I had maxed out because, again, I think a lot of agents, they don't have hairy, audacious goals. My goal was to earn $1 million in GCI. I wanted to see it on my tax return so bad because I had thought from my limited beliefs that making $100,000 was it. You made it. Well, that was because that's what my family was exposed to. We grew up poor, right? We didn't grow up with a silver spoon in our mouth. So making $100,000 back in, 20 years ago, that was a lot of money. And so when I was exposed to the bigger agents, though, in the community of agents that were sitting on stage saying they were selling 300, 400, 500 homes a year and making millions, not just a million, they were making 2 million, 3 million. And their stories were that they were they were homeless in their car and they met Mike Ferry and they did these things, they did these things on the page. And because they had blind faith, that this crap would work. You got to have blind faith. You can't just, you got to work through the fears of, oh my God, this is hard. Yeah, it's hard. But I knew with every part of my soul that at the end of this was my saving grace, right? And this was going to earn me $1 million. And it did. And it earned me $1 million in 4 years. I didn't buy leads. I didn't go on Zillow at the time. I didn't do anything, but I did the work because I wanted my family to win. I wanted to be the warrior for my family. And it was up to me, right? It was, if it's to be, it's up to me. So that was, that was the burning, right? That was the everyday burn in my belly. I had it and I didn't care about the fear. That it took me 2 months to make a cold call when I had my first coach. 2 months. I lied to my coach. I said to my coach, Bob.
100%.
I lied. I said, I'm making the calls, Bob. It's just not working. And he would say, well, when we role play Tina on the phone, you're pretty good. So I don't know what's going on. You're either lying or you're not, you're just, something's amiss. And I finally confessed. I said, I'm lying, Bob. I'm lying. He said, you got to do me a favor. Tomorrow, you're going to pick up the phone and you're going to make one FSBO call, just one. And you're going to read the script. He said, and then when you make that call, he said, call me and tell me you did it. Just do the one. That's the win. I said, okay, I'm going to do the one. So the next day I remember calling and I was so afraid. I mean, I could throw up just thinking of calling a human that would reject me because I like people to like me. And so I remember, Dave, I called the guy, the FSBO, and I said, hi, it's Tina Caul. I'm doing a survey. That was the script. And the guy answered the question. And then I went, oh my God. And then I asked the next question and he answered it. And by the third question, I hung up on this man. I was so excited that he answered the question. And all I could think was, this shit works. That was it. It just worked. And I was so excited. I actually hung up on this human being, but I called my coach and I said, Bob, I did it. I called, I answered I asked the 3 questions. The guy answered. He said, did you get the appointment? I said, no, I hung up on him. I mean, it's just, it just was building belief, right? Yeah. In myself, in the scripts, in the embracing the repetitious boredom of this activity. Cause it's boring. It's boring to sit there for 2 hours a day and have people hang up on you or, and not a lot hang up on you. I mean, that's the other myth that people are going to be mean to you. They're going to hang up on you. Sure, you're going to get some bozo that's mad that day, but they're not mad at you. And the reality is they hang up on you and they move on with their life. But we sit there and wallow in the misery of, oh my God, somebody just hung up on me and it just was so terrible. And that person does not think about you the minute they hang up the phone. Right? I mean, they just.
Right.
So, and the reality is we let our kids reject us. We let our husbands reject us. We let our family reject us, but a stranger rejects you and it ruins your day. Well, get over it. That was what my coach would say. Get over it. GOI, get over it. So that was my confidence building moment. And then again, once you do it, it's like riding a bike. You get in and you go, okay, today I'm going to go get a lot of no's. Most people say no. I've never called a seller, Dave. I don't know about you. Have you ever called a seller 5 times in a row and every seller says yes? No, it just doesn't happen. So you got to dig for the gold. The gold is there. It's just, you got to dig for it. Most people don't want to dig because it's too hard.
Yeah. What's interesting is that, there's a great book out there called Go for No.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Right. And it just it talks about, Sekou talks about this all the time, is you got to go for no. 90 out of 100 at least are going to be no's. I don't care if you've got 100 grandmothers on your side, 90 of your grandmothers, your relatives, are all going to say no.
They're all going to say no. I mean, right? Yeah. I mean, think of my kid. I think of my kid all the time. Mom, can I have that? No. Well, come on, Mom, can I have? No. No. By the 7th no, I say yes to him. Kids are the best salespeople around. They're the best salespeople because they have no fear and they don't give up. but we give up as adults because it hurt our feelings and we don't feel good doing that. Well, of course it doesn't feel good, but you're trying to make $1 million or 100,000 or 200 or whatever it is. It's not going to be easy. It's not going to be easy. And that's why the failure rate is so high. It's so high in this industry. And my goal is to reduce it by inspiring my team. I have 2 agents on my team, Dave, right now. They're brand new. They have never sold a home. And the one gal, Wendy, who's amazing, she's listed 9 properties in a couple months, 9 homes in 2 months, because she doesn't know the difference. She just thinks you come onto a call group and you're supposed to make calls to strangers and practice your scripts and fail over and over and over again. But guess what? She wins because she fails.
Well, that's the whole thing. The story. I mean, you hear these stories all over the place. Someone's like, we're in the end of November after Thanksgiving, right? And people are going to tell new agents nothing happens in December. It's like I always said to people, are you going to take that 6-week vacation, the realtor vacation that everybody takes? See, around here in New Jersey, in the tri-state area, we used to have this convention called Triple Play, and it was like the 2nd week in December, and it was like Disneyland for real estate agents. It's just like so stupid. The conference itself was okay, but most of the people that went weren't even going anywhere.
Yeah,
right? They were just partying. So it was like, that's why a lot of them got into the business, right? Like I said. So, all right. So when you do all this work, you can expect, let's go through that real quickly because I want to really put this together. You can expect more listings. Go ahead, go through your list.
So more listings than ever before. And you want to become a listing agent. Listings are the name of the game. You have to list to last because the burnout rate to be a buyer agent, you can't be a buyer agent forever hauling and showing people houses for the rest of your life. You're always on demand. You always have to be physically present. I could go to the beach and sell 5 houses on a weekend and not get in a car. That's leverage, right? So you have to learn how to become an amazing listing agent. It increases your confidence. You have unbelievable growth when you do this. You have a huge income. I mean, bigger than most agents around. And you're going to have a lot of referrals because people are going to love that confidence. When a seller, comes into my presence, in my mind, I want to be in control. I want to give them what they want. I want to lead them, right? And so I want to be a leader. And then I want them to go, wow, that was a great experience with Tina. I'm going to refer her to my friend, because they're confident that they can refer you. Most people that come into the business, their own family won't use them until they prove themselves. Your own family won't use you. And they get all bummed out because their family won't use them. But have you shown your family that you're a confident, driven individual? Or do they know you as somebody who's lazy and just not successful in your other endeavors? And so you got to show them that you're willing to do the work.
Exactly. And one of the things that you're talking about here in the background of everything you're saying is basically your mission and your vision and all your values put together, right? And one of the things you just talked about with family is they have to see that, number one, I believe, that you're serious about your business, that it's just not a bullshit thing that you're doing because you got nothing else to do, or you know what, it was easier to get your license. I'm sorry, folks, easier to get your license during COVID because in New Jersey, they never had online learning before, right?
Right.
And they had to do it. And I'm a certified mentor for EXP, and I have a lot of mentees. I have rejected more mentees over the last month because they just got their license. They want to be an investor. They want to try real estate because they had nothing else to do. I'm not interested in working with people that want to try real estate. I don't know about you, Tina, but it's just that it just doesn't work for me. And when you talk about, you're going for no and hang in there, Sekou, who hopefully will join us in a few minutes, says you already don't have the listing. What do you care about what they say and what they're doing and everything else? You don't have them there. So, it's just so important. I think what you're talking about here is just the basis of business, right?
Yeah. And a thing to think about, this is the time of year that you shouldn't be winding down. You should be gearing up because we have a 90-day cycle in the business. So October 1st is when we plan our year, not January 1st. Agents start planning their year January 1st, and they don't have commission checks till March. If you plan your year October 1st every single year, you're going to get paid in January. You're going to get commission checks, right?
Yes.
Every single agent should be on the phone today because today is the day after a holiday. A lot of people are home, right? You want to make calls when people are home after dinner, 5 or 6 o'clock after dinner. Saturdays, for the first 2 hours of the day, before people exit their homes, you should be calling them. Sunday after dinner, when people are winding down, getting ready for their week, or every day in the morning, your ritual should be 2 hours a day. It just has to happen. It's like exercise. If you expect to be healthy and fit, you got to do it every day. So
Right.
really, it's not I'm going to do it 2 days a week. You can do that, but you're not going to be highly successful. And I meet people where they're at, Dave. I have agents on my team who want to sell 12 or 15 homes. I'm okay with that. I can teach you how to do 12 or 15. But if you want to do 100, I can teach you how to do that. And so it just depends on what is your desire, what is your goal, and then we can get you there. You want to build a mega team. I finally, this year, stepped off my team. I'm not in production anymore because of moving my agents into a position of power where they can list and they can sell homes. Now, like we're at EXP, thank God. And I have that ability to just let them be free, let them learn how to hunt and grow. If they leave me, it's okay. But I want to create an environment where they don't want to leave. I want to create an environment where they can be leaders, they can build and build and build. So yeah, we're having a lot of fun with it, but I'm finally out of the production role after 20 years. And now I can go into the coaching and training role, which I have way more passion for, inspiring people. So
I agree with you. I find that the biggest kick I get from my ego, honestly, is when someone comes in that I've been working with, comes in or calls me up and says, it worked.
It worked, right? I did it. And you see the little light bulb go off, and they're like,
I did it.
Yeah.
And years ago, I got to be honest, I talked about my reasons for where I am today because I wanted to work with people that wanted to work. And I didn't get enough of that because I wasn't seeing people doing the work, right? It was like, I remember three people, the last three people that did it in my office that actually came up to my office. I had the door up and they said, it fucking worked. I can't believe it. I see, that's all you got to do. And then I just would say, let's go, let's do more,
Well, the other problem is have people look around your office. Who are the people that you're surrounding yourself with? Is it agents that just come in every day and they're on their laptop, buying leads, or they're just, the real estate offices are so quiet. And I used to remember dreaming about owning an office. If I could just own an office, I would want everyone to come in the morning. I would want it to be, really exciting, music on, and everyone has the same energy because that makes you want to do it. But if you're the only one in your office prospecting and everybody else is quiet, you're not going to want to do it in that environment. You're going to feel stupid. You're going to feel scared. You're going to feel like they're listening to you, which they are, right? Because they're going, wow, she's in there doing that. The agents used to listen to me in the office and they used to come in and go, what are you doing in there? Well, I'm prospecting. How do you do that? And I would show them. I'd say, well, come in and listen. And they'd sit down and they'd hear me make an appointment. Do you think that they would then go do it for themselves? No, because they just didn't have I don't know if it's the confidence or the grit, or maybe their goal wasn't big enough, but they'd say, well, that's not me. I just don't want to do that. And that's okay. I don't want people to not be true to who they are or not have fun in the business. This can be a really fun business, but if you're having fun and you're doing it part-time, you're probably not making $1 million. Right.
Exactly. So I can talk about two greats that have been on this broadcast. One is oh geez, I can't think of his name. I'm looking around. Oh yeah, Greg Harrelson from
I love Greg.
From Century 21, the Harrelson Group in South Carolina, Myrtle Beach. He says that the reason that agents are not successful, and you hit upon this really hard, is they're not prepared. They're not prepared. They don't know their scripts. They have not internalized the scripts. And then another great, Michael Hellickson, founder and CEO of Club Wealth, says their why isn't big enough. You hit upon that as well. You know, so I mean, you take all the things. Now, that's why you fit in with all the greats, Tina. I mean, there you are, right? Yeah. So I mean, it's just something that I looked at it, that we can have goals and we can have commitments, right? Yeah. A goal is a hope and a dream, right? Until you put a commitment to it, right? And I have this thing called GCAP, right? So it's goals, commitments. Once you're committed to your goal, I mean, seriously committed,
right?
You have to prepare the action steps. Now, as you said, all this needs to be done not in November, not in December, not in January, but it's got to be done. My plan was written and done before November 1st.
Oh, easily. Wow.
And I started implementing some changes and some things I wanted to work on and implement into my personal business November 1st, even before and I've seen growth in it. So I know that I'm going to hit the ground running. Like it's a hockey stick, right?
Absolutely.
The last thing that people don't do, I mean, we can build our plans, and the last thing they don't do is they don't do the work. And that's the P, performance, right?
Yeah.
Goals, commitment, action steps, performance. They're not performing. How do you take someone that you know has the capability, you know has confidence in themselves, they just won't pick up the phone? Is there a way to push them over the hill at all that you see?
Yeah, I mean, I think the biggest thing is just to come in and role play first, right? Just go into the training camp. It's kind of like, bringing a soldier in, a brand new soldier, and going, hey, guess what? We're going to go out and we're going to shoot people today, right now. And you go, wait, I don't even know how to point a gun. So they don't know how to do it. And the problem is, though, they won't take the time to learn how to do it. They just want to go be amazing from the get-go. And I tell everybody, give yourself grace. You don't know the script yet. You don't know, what we do on a daily basis. But I used to remember, 12 years ago when I joined Mike Ferry, I would I would read my script and record myself. Then I would listen back to it all day long. Guess what I was doing? Walking around the house, practicing my script like a weirdo. I was a weirdo. My husband thought I had lost my mind. I said, this is my performance, right? I got to go out and meet these sellers. How am I going to do it without knowing what to say? Ring, ring. Hey, is this the owner? Yeah, this is the owner. Hey, I'm a local real estate agent. I just saw your home came off the computer as an expired listing. Hey, I was just calling to see, when do you plan on? Or whatever your script is. I mean, I don't even use that script today, but I know how to get in front of the customer now, like the back of my hand. If my entire team left me tomorrow, Dave, and I had zero income from my team, Kevin and I would be able to go back on the phones and have an appointment tomorrow. Like it's just there. Now I have the confidence that I will never be broke again. That is a great feeling. That feeling is worth working for, that you will never be broke again. I don't want to be broke. I grew up, admiring other people with money and security. As a child, I grew up and go, wow, I wish we had that. My mom used to coupon shop, and we'd leave the store because there was something for 25 cents cheaper at the Farmer Jack down the street. And I used to think as a child, like, I don't want to be that. There was always something in me that wanted to be successful financially. And success is not how much money you make. Success is the fact that you can wake up every day and do what you want, right? All of us exchange time for money every single day, don't we? We all do, right? Yep. So once you get to the level of earnings that you want, now it's figuring out, how do I become wealthy? And becoming wealthy is waking up every day and knowing that money's coming in and you can do whatever you want for your day. So I've transitioned from working my butt off to earn money. Now I know how to earn money, and I built a team. So I have a business, right? And from my business and being self-employed, now I actually I'm an investor, right? So we have ways to earn passive residual income. So one day we could go on a trip for 3 months and not answer the phone. So there's a lifespan, a trajectory of what people want, and they can get there if they surround themselves with the right people. Like, that's it. And they got to do the work. So that's the biggest thing I tell every agent. Tell me your script right now. You should be able to just tell me it. And if you aren't at the point where I could say, what's the expired script right now? What's the FSBO script? Do your listing presentation. If you haven't mastered those 3 things, then you haven't put in the work. So everybody should ask themselves, have I put in the work? If the answer is no, go do it. It will pay you in spades. I mean, you will become wealthy, whatever that number is. I don't care if it's 100,000, 500, 10 million. You will have that wealth, but you've got to put in the work.
All right. So you talked about how the steps you've taken. You've learned how to make money, and now you want to become wealthy. So you've taken yourself away from the production. Now you've got a business. Yeah. So how do you take what you've just said for the individual agent that is looking at this? Because, by the way, this broadcast right now is such a footprint for a lot of things that everybody needs to listen to. And, it's motivational, it's inspirational. But what would you say to that individual agent that's, they don't want a team, they don't want to grow that way, but they want to build their business and they're stuck at, let's say, 10, 15 deals? What would you tell them? What would be your inspiration to them or your instruction to them?
Well, I mean, again, I didn't join real estate because I wanted to build a team. I just wanted to earn a living. 20 years ago, I just wanted to make $100,000. That was it. And then I made that 100 grand. And then I wanted to earn more. And so then I, luckily, thank God, exposed myself to a person that was making $1 million. And I want to be like her. What does she do? Oh, she does coaching. Okay, I'll do it. If you can do it, I can do it. And so then you start to go, I want to make more money. And then you figure out ways to make more money. The agent doing 10, 15 deals that says, I don't want a team. Well, that's fine. I didn't want a team. The team just organically happened because I got to 130 deals, Dave, and I wasn't seeing my family. I was on the phone with this thing 24/7. It was attached to my hip. This is not a life. Okay. So I exchanged my life for money, right? And then I started to say, okay, well, I'm going to hire a couple buyer's agents and I'm going to gain leverage and I'm going to give up $500,000 of my money, right? I'm going to share 250 grand with other people. And I'm going to take a little bit of a pay cut in the beginning because I'm giving them my buyers, but I got my time back. But what happened was, even though I gave up some of the money started to, the deals started to grow. So I invested 250 grand in people, and then I got my time back. Oh, and by the way, now we have more deals. And so the team concept for me, I wasn't seeking it. It just organically made sense because I needed leverage. So I hired, 2 or 3 office staff. I hired, 2 or 3 agents, and I saw that we went from 130 deals from me to 175. And then I thought, okay, well, this is interesting. So if I bring on people and I teach them this game and they are empowered and they get what they want, I'll get what I want, which is I can build an organization. So what I didn't realize, though, was I was moving myself into a leadership role. I didn't want that. I didn't have confidence yet. Today I turn around and go, are these people really still following me? You have this imposter syndrome,
Yes.
because you don't believe that this is happening to you, but it is. And so as my organization's growing now, I'm going, oh my God, I'm a leader. I didn't want to be a leader. I didn't want to be a team leader. But I guess I'm here, so I better learn. And so now I'm failing people over and over. Trust me, I was not a great leader. You can ask my first buyer's agent. She's still with me today, 8 years ago. I sucked. We didn't have meetings. I didn't know what to say at a meeting. And by the way, I was shy. I didn't want to speak in front of people. My biggest fear in life was public speaking. Mike Ferry used to ask me to speak on stage, and every answer was no. I didn't have the confidence, Dave. I would sit up on stage and I would think people might laugh at me or I might say something wrong. I didn't ever want to look stupid because I was the kid in school that got C's and D's on tests and didn't feel confident. And so, you start to, break through those fears, and mine that I needed to conquer after I grew a team and became successful team leader. My fear was I'm going to conquer public speaking. And you mentioned it when we were off broadcast. You said, I watched your TED Talk. Well, my TED Talk was a growth thing. In 2019, I woke up that New Year's Day and I said, okay, this is my year of yes. If somebody asks me to speak, I'm going to just say yes, even though I'd rather just die than public speak. And so what was my first opportunity? One of my friends who was curating a TED event here locally came to Kevin and I, and she said, I want you both to speak at this TED event. And I was like, oh my God. I mean, I died inside. My stomach just I said, no way. I'm not starting with a TED Talk. Like I might go sit on an agent panel, but that's it. And so Kevin said, I'm not doing it. He had no interest in doing the TED Talk, but he looked at me and he said, this is it. You got to do this. You want to do this, but you're afraid. And you got to bust through this fear. And so I finally said yes to the TED Talk. Hardest thing I've ever done in my life. I mean, I've given birth. I've done hard things. Prospecting, nothing like this. I mean, I would do hours and hours a day of prospecting versus this TED Talk again. But you know what, Dave? I conquered my fear. And today I can finally say I'm a public speaker. I'm not afraid of speaking anymore. And I think it's so sad that that's the number one fear that people have. And you're going to die in life not hearing your own voice. It's sad. And I think I feel like Superwoman now because I've conquered that fear. That was probably the last big fear I've had in my life is public speaking. And now I feel like Superwoman. I mean, I do. So you got to work on it.
It's just great. I mean, we talk about a lot of different things. We talk about the individual agent as opposed to everything else. And like I said, everything you've put here has been really very, very cool as far as, what an agent needs to do and what the feelings that they're going to have. I want to go to a really short blip right now just to give us a little break. We're going to bring on one of my heroes in this game, and you're my new hero in this game.
Yeah.
We're going to bring on a friend of mine in 1 second. So give me 2 minutes. We'll be right back, everybody. But just check out. I got some important information for you here. NJHeroesProgram.com is all about heroes. What's a hero? Who's a hero? Active military, military veterans, police and fire personnel, nurses, doctors, teachers, municipal workers, grocery store workers, and transportation workers. This is about helping these heroes, save money when buying and selling their homes. Through the New Jersey Buyer Rebate Program and Seller Negotiable Commissions, NJHeroesProgram.com saves heroes money when buying and selling their homes. I'm Dave Finale. I'm a real estate broker in New Jersey and a real estate coach helping agents nationwide. I've coordinated real estate agents and affiliated services all over the state of New Jersey to save our heroes money when buying and selling homes. We need to help them out. Heroes come in many shapes, sizes, attitudes, and jobs, right? The one thing that makes them all heroes is they helped us. One way or the other, they protected us. They've been there for us. Now I think it's our turn to be there for them. At least it's my turn. Go to NJHeroesProgram.com as a hero and give us a little information so we can save you money when you buy a home. As an agent, loan officer, home inspector, attorney, or anyone aiding in home ownership, become a sponsor. To become a sponsor, there is no cost. All you have to do is give back. How easy is that? Go to NJHeroesProgram.com. I can't wait to talk to all of you. Let's go. Let's get it done. And here we are. Look who's with us. I want to welcome Tina Sekou. We've been having a great talk, Sekou, about a lot of different things. I know you had some technical difficulties, but
oh man,
we've been talking about
be without technical difficulties, right?
Exactly, man. I mean, we had some physical difficulties today. We had some technical difficulties today, but here we are. Tina's going through some great stuff. This is just like today's been an overview of what you need to do to make money in this business and how to do it. So Sekou, thanks for coming on. I hope you had a great Thanksgiving, everybody, by the way.
I did. Welcome to Casa de Coup, right? So we've got all of this stuff going on behind us because I couldn't get the office set up in time.
No, that's fine, man. That's fine, man. So Tina's talking about a little bit about leadership, a little bit about a lot of different things, and I know. You guys have been around. And you and I have been able to work with you. Mostly been able to work with a lot of people that have.
Oh my God! If you're talking about leadership, you're talking to the right person. I got to be honest with you. It's very rare that you meet someone that is both sound and visual, right? Both audio and visual, right? Like it matches up perfectly. What she says is what she does. She is the real deal. They are the real deal. The Caul Group. If I have to be honest, right, and I'm learning more about North Carolina, the Triangle, and all of that stuff now, between the calls and all of the people that are in their universe, I'm getting a picture. I kind of want to move down there. I don't know. It's becoming.
I might come down there. Come on. The weather is gorgeous outside right now.
All right, I do have to say
right now.
Yeah.
What's the weather?
I mean, it's got to be like 70 degrees. We went for a walk with shorts on, if that tells you anything.
Now, I do have to say, it is rather gorgeous up here today, but it's kind of scary that it's rather gorgeous up here today.
Yeah.
We were out there sweating, and we shouldn't have been sweating today, man. If I could get down to the nitty gritty,
go ahead, man.
I have been working with agents in your universe for the last, I'd say, maybe 90 days solid, right? And there is one through line for every single agent that I have met through the universe. They have grit and integrity, and they keep showing up. They do not give up. It is awesome, and they're all polite when they're doing it. They all got that Southern, hospitality mixed with can-do spirit, and will not give up ever. I love it. It's got to be a reflection on what you guys are doing and what you guys are teaching down there, and the resources that are available. How the hell do you meet these people? Is just everyone down there like that?
I mean, we just, here's the thing. Energy attracts energy, right? Like attracts like. That's it. And so, I look for people that are looking for us. And that's so I've had people that I've met that I've like literally said, please do not join us. Go this direction.
I see that before, yeah.
Yeah. So
go that way.
Yeah, please go that way. Because you can feel an energy shift in a person. And so, so we've been really blessed to, Kevin and I always have pretty even keeled temperaments. Like we're just happy. Like that's just our disposition. Yeah. And so, we were happy broke. We're happy rich. We're going to be happy whenever. Take it all away, and I'm still happy. But I will figure out how to be successful. Like that's okay. And I tell everybody, I will meet you where you're at. If you want to sell 12 homes, we will teach you how to sell 12. You want to sell 112, we'll teach you that. If you want to build a team, listen, I made a lot of mistakes. We all did. Yeah. We all continue to make more. I'll make more. I'm not, I don't have an ego, but I am a student of my craft every day. Every day I still spend an hour a day learning something new, putting something new in my brain. So I work on my business during the day. I work on my empire at night. And my empire is not, trying to be worth $100 million. It's just what you're building for yourself. Where's your passion project? So I have a passion project. And now, because I've been so blessed financially and I worked hard to get there, now my passion is watching the charities, right? Charity must be. Right. I just met her off Instagram and we went and had lunch. And I'm like, this girl has 4 jobs. There she is right there, Charity. She has 4 jobs. How can I get her to have 1 job? And she's a great leader. She's a great inspiration. Absolutely. She brings people together. She's a connector and she deserves to be fantastically wealthy, because but I believe in people before they believe in themselves, because somebody believed in me before I believed in myself. Right?
Will over skill, baby. Will over skill.
Yeah.
I tell you what. I tell you what. The impressive nature of what you're talking about is that when the visions line up, right? When the visions line up.
There you
go. No, hold on a second. A little bit. When the visions line up, it's like harmony in a song. It can be absolutely perfect. And what I've learned is that I don't have to come up with something new. All I have to do is believe in what I'm doing, and the waves just start happening, man. And we start doing sound over noise, and that's when the real magic happens. I look at the group that you are all a part of, because I'm listening to your language when you partner with agents and when you do these things together. And then I see the synergy between you and your husband. And I tell you right now, I haven't physically in the same space met y'all.
Yeah.
But I feel like I've had several drinks with you all, and it has been very fun and very comfortable and very beneficial. So let me ask you guys this, right? So we've sent messages back and forth, and we've sent people back and forth, and this and that. If I could grant a wish, right? If I could literally grant a wish, I'm going to change this up a little bit, Finale.
Go ahead, man.
If I could grant a wish to the Caul Group, what would that be? Just close your. I don't care how big and crazy it is.
It's funny. I mean, you mean from you personally, or just my wish?
From us. What? If it is your wish, I'll see if I can make it happen. How about that?
I mean, here's my thing. When I was becoming more succful financially, I would feel this guilt of being right. Like why can't all my family do this? Why can't all my friends feel this? And I would literally feel bad about being successful. and guilty. And so now it's like, all I want is for everyone, if I could download, and I don't know if you're not gonna be able to do this, but this is what I want. My wish is that I could download the feeling of, having confidence. I think if everyone had the confidence to know that they could do it, then wow, imagine the results. That's it. It's just confidence. I was always pretty confident that I could do it. I believed in myself. So now I'm like, I think if you already are doing it for our group, I have to thank you. You are. I have sent people to Commitment to Capping, and I'm a big believer of, send people, I'll help your people, you help my people. It takes a village, right? So it takes a village mentality. I don't need to, I'm not about I'm going to recruit all these agents and then I'm going to leave them. And no, if you come from value, you will get what you want. Just like in sellers and buyers. If I give a seller what they want, they're going to come back. If I give a buyer what they want, they're going to come back. So, so it's about doing the right thing. But I wish I could download the grit, something just in everybody where they just moved forward and did everything that they wanted to do. And I don't know that we're going to do that, Sekou, but
I love that. Wait a minute, but I'm writing it down.
Yeah.
I think the heart and the soul of everything we're talking about has to do with not the typical real estate situation where we believe in collaboration. We believe in helping everybody, even though it doesn't mean a dime for either of us.
Right?
That's what we all believe here. That is something that honestly I've yearned for throughout my entire career, is to have people like that, to work with people like that, to be with people like that. And with all the great information we had in this 1 hour of a broadcast, this is what we're doing. And that's why you're on. Truth be told, you were not feeling well today and almost did not come on.
Man.
I woke up with swollen eyelids. They were like this. And I went,
like mine usually.
Yeah. I was like, oh my God, your eyes are swollen. I said, oh my God, what do? I took Benadryl. But what it was salt intake from yesterday. My body reacts to salt now, and I get all puffed up. So I ate way too much salt.
So, my point is this: is that it was important for you to come on, and and that's really something. I've only had one person not show, and he eventually did come on. I'm going to leave him nameless right now, but he did come on eventually, and the point is that I want to talk about the collaboration effect again by saying the man to my right, to your right, what we're looking at, was ready to come on at a moment's notice to fill in and to be there, along with, I'm going to tell you else, Nick Krem was also ready to come on, because my thought process was not, oh shit, she's not showing up. My thought process was, I hope she's okay. Let me plan B.
Yeah.
Right?
You're always in, right? Yeah, absolutely.
And the collaborative effect of what Commitment to Capping has done for a lot of agents in North Carolina, in Florida, in Texas, in California, and where else, Sekou? In Michigan, right? Who else?
Michigan and Nevada.
Right.
Wow.
Right.
Wow.
Grown quite
Canada.
a bit. No. We've grown quite a bit. We've got people that want to contribute, but it all comes from the heart. It all comes from the soul. And Tina, I should have had this on more, and I apologize to you. How do people get in contact with you if they're interested in talking to you?
Yeah, so one of my marketing people made this Tina Caul Life, and I cracked up. I'm like, that's so not me, but we might change it to freedombuilders.com, but right now it's Tina Caul Life. And then on Instagram, I'm at Caul Group. So follow me on Instagram. We got to 12,000 followers, I think we're at now, which is
awesome. That's great. I got to tell you, Tina, I said before, I checked out, I do as much research as I can on people before they have them on. And you and I had never met before, truth be told. And when I went to Tina Caul Live, I said, wow, this is something, unfortunately, Tina, I'm going to copy it because it's amazing. Right?
My whole life is R&D, baby. R&D. Rip off
and duplicate.
Right? Why overthink it? It's already been done by smarter people. Just move to it faster.
What did Kendra say? Kendra said, be a good mimic.
Yeah, I wasn't the smartest kid in class, but I was smart enough to sit next to him. And that's right. That's the reality. So yeah, it's been really good. I want to tell you what's really interesting about today's show. We are doing this on Black Friday, or
I don't know what Friday it is anymore these days, but
it's Black Friday month now. It's not
Friday
even like
month, right? So, but this is 11. We started at 11 a.m. Eastern time, and we have more viewership and more likes and hearts than we've had in months on this show. It's the day after Thanksgiving. So I think that's really that's a testament to you, Tina. Thank you so much for being on. And Sekou, I know you asked the question a little bit before, but I'm going to have you ask the real question again. This is how we end each show. And but before you do that, Sekou, before you do that, the reason she did come out, even though her eyes were bad.
Well, I was gonna tease and say it's to get one of those cool hats.
You got one now, right? And you know, this is a great version. It'll also be autographed too.
I love it.
Look at that.
But that's
I'm jealous.
Thank you so much.
I couldn't sleep last night thinking about that hat.
I've been told that about a lot of people, honestly. I mean, you know, sorry you're not the first, but that's okay.
That's okay.
It's okay. Sekou, so we ask a question to all of our guests at the end, and Sekou is the one who started this, and I always love him to ask this question. So Sekou, hit it, baby.
So I asked you what if we could fulfill a wish for you, and you gave us a very, very insightful answer. And so as a business person, what can we do to help you grow?
You know, just stay in friendship. Like, that's it. I mean, just
friendship. I love it.
You know, where we all come up with something and sharing ideas. I grow by ideas. And so I learn from every human, not just the greats. You know, people put us on a pedestal. I don't feel I belong on a pedestal. All I did was work hard, right? And so now I love when you learn something new, share it. You know, teach the tribe. Teach everybody what you learn, because that effect is duplicatable. That is where the magic is. When you can teach someone and then it duplicates, that's it. So that's the magic, baby. That's the magic.
I love it. I see Ashley out there.
Yeah, I just want to say one thing. I launched recently a top 10 of this broadcast, and you know what has happened over the past couple of months is these get better and better, and unfortunately, it's now going to have to be the top 20, and you are number 11. Well, you're not, but you will be added to that list. And they can get it by well, you can DM me, but it's going to be TGIFtop10.com. That'll be coming out next week, and we've got great people on that, including Tom Ferry, John Cheplack. Well, who else do we have on that? We got a lot of great people, and now Tina Caul.
And now Tina Caul.
Wow.
Caul Group.
For all.
That's great. So, Tina, anything else? Any one thing you want to say to everybody about building their business and everything else?
You know, I think it's a journey. It's not a race. You know, people want to be amazing overnight. It's like, I feel like becoming a real estate agent, if you're new, is a 4-year cycle, right? You're gonna feel like you know what you're doing in the 4th year. And if you really want to grow, you're going to have to study leadership. You're going to have to. I didn't set out to do it, but it's been probably the most rewarding thing, is to learn how to become a leader. And there's different types of leaders, right? So I'm not a leader manager. I suck at managing things. I'm a leader, influencer, inspirer. I love to bring energy, and I like to have the vision of where things are going. So yeah, just practice building your own self every single day. What's between these 2 ears? That's it. It's a mind game, really, more than.
I love it. I love
Tina
it.
Sekou, thank you so much for coming on. If you just stay on for a second,
thank you.
As I go off, hopefully I will do this correctly. And thanks again.
Let the whole thing play.
I'm good. Yeah, okay. Here we go.